friend. I'm Marcy Farrell from thankfulhomemaker.com, and I'm joining you for a really quick video today. This is a really important one to me because it's a tool that I love that helps me to manage my home well, and it's one of my favorites. I talk about a lot, I promote it a lot, I'm always throwing that link in there, and I know I had some requests from the Thankful Homemaker Facebook group to just kind of do a review and a walkthrough how I use it. So that's what this video is today, very simply. I have some quick cheat notes so I stay on target and keep moving through it well, but I'd love to do that with you today. So the planner I'm going to walk through is called the Homemaker's Friend Daily Planner, and I'm going to kind of walk you through my 2021, but the 2021 one is already out, so I'm kind of excited. It's always fun to start a new planner, but it's been fun for me to kind of walk through how I use this, because it's really helping me revamp. Am I using it to the best? Can I do more to it? Because there's parts of it that I don't always use. There's a lot of different sections, like any typical planner. We kind of personalize it. We make it our own. I've used a lot of planners over the years. Back in the day, think Franklin Covey, or what was it called? Daytimer. More recent, my I Bloom planner is one that I have blogged about, and it's still in my mind. I utilize that kind of setup even with this Homemaker's Daily Friend. I've tried Michael Hyatt's Free to Focus, great planner, probably an overkill for what I do. So just too many areas for me to work through that I didn't use. But this planner wins year after year for me. It's simplistic, the layout's perfect, I love the size, and the price is phenomenal. Guys, you cannot find a planner for under $20. And Sue runs a lot of coupon codes and discounts. So I know at the end of the year coming in the new one, she'll probably have some specials. I'm filming this in October of 2020. She just ran a special last month where it was $2 off. So, and I want to say you could get it then for under $15. So this is a great planner. So let's kind of walk through what I do with it. And again, as I said, I don't use every aspect of it, but my planner starts off, you know, it's sort of got your typical, your intro page, okay? And then the next section I go to, it's got my name and address and the yearly calendars. Sue has a theme, and I feel bad I didn't look at, I'm going to check that out here, but the theme for this planner was kindness. And she has a sweet little article in here and ways to implement kindness into your days. Let me see what 2021's is because I haven't even looked that far ahead yet. So let me take a peek at that. So it is flowing with change. So she has just dealing with change, how change happens. She has things in here, adjust your expectations, seize the moment. And again, she'll have a neat little article for that in here. And then every week there'll be little areas to kind of make a note of that, and she'll have quotes throughout it. It's really, really well laid out. Sue talks about herself. When you buy the planner, you also get some menu planning pages with it, a download. But the planner goes through. It has weekly planning. It has a monthly calendar, a yearly calendar. It has task list, goal lists, monthly goals, projects and events, shopping lists, information in the back. Pretty much anything that you want or you think you can do, you'll find in this planner. It'll have a place for you to personalize it and make it your own. All right, so let me start here with the yearly calendar. So I'm going to her first tab, which is the yearly calendar. And this area for me, and I'm probably not holding that well, is where I utilize my spiritual priorities. I use the word goals, but I love priorities from a spiritual aspect. And I have a video on that, on setting spiritual priorities that I'll link to, but it's on my YouTube channel, so you can find it there. But the areas that I go through on it are growing godliness, getting through the Bible, or really however I'm utilizing and working God's word into my day. So like as an example, in growing godliness, in my section for this year, I have things like I wanted to read through the Bible chronologically in a year. I wanted to get involved in a small group study. Things like that are on here. Next would be love my family. And that's, aspects of dealing with relationships with my husband and my children and my grandchildren and my father-in-law and my mother. And so it's really more my immediate close family. Then I have serve in the church. So how am I ministering and loving on my church family? I'll have evangelize non-Christians. How am I reaching out to those? that don't know Christ and building those relationships in my life and taking those opportunities to share the gospel with them. Attend to my work. So that covers my home, and it covers my blog and really my work with my husband's company, which is pretty much the same for me every week. So there's not a whole lot going on there. I'm his bookkeeper, so not overly exciting, but my work is always pretty steady there, which is good. And then my personal care for myself, so I'll have on there physical health aspects that I want to achieve. And I think that's it. I think I covered them all. If I miss one, I'm kind of reading off here and I was skipping around. But that's what I do with this yearly goal section. So I literally write down what my goals are for the year in those specific areas. And that's all I'm doing there as we're looking at that. So that's my start. This is something that I'm probably going to sit down with in December and pick up my new planner and do the same thing. I'm going to break up those areas and work through it. So let me see here. So my next thing is, thanks for being patient with me here. All right. Is how am I going to break those down? So now I've got these huge goals, right, for the whole year. I'm not going to do all those in 1 month. They're going to be strewn out through the whole year. So the next section of the planner, I'm still in the yearly section. I've not moved. I break it down into quarters. So I'll write down what are my hopes or my first quarter goals. So January, February, March, what are some areas I hope to accomplish? And when you're looking at this, I don't get all that done. I don't think that's too much. I can get through some of it, but it keeps me motivated and it keeps me on a good pattern of having some priorities and some set markers to get towards and to work towards. So I love that. I love having to be, my favorite word always is intentional. It helps me to be intentional in how I'm planning my day. So that's really important for me. So when I did my planner, I'm going to step back a little. So I get my new planner. I write down my areas of spiritual priorities, go through that video. It'll be super helpful for you if it's something you'd like to do. And you don't have to use my areas. You can determine your own areas, but it just helps you to be intentional in planning out your year and your month and your weeks and your days. So from there, I move to now, I've taken that year, I'm now moving it down to my first quarter goals. So that's all I'm going to look at. So before January hits, probably I'm sitting there December 31st. Normally I don't stay up till midnight, but I might. Probably this year I will. But I will stay up and I'll kind of work through that week between Christmas and New Year's is usually a quiet time for us. And I'll work through my first quarter goals and what are my hopes. And then the same thing at the end of March, I'll look for April, May, June. Same thing, June. And I'll just have the different quarters laid out. So that's my yearly part of my planner. So now I go to my monthly part. And I don't do a whole lot with the list, except I do have goals I'd like to fill in monthly. So I'll shoot a list of items, like some of my things that have been on my list for a long time that didn't necessarily make it to my spiritual priorities are things like work on my photo albums. I need to organize my office desk. I have my menu planning system. I want to update more of my Trim Healthy Mama menu meals and plans. What else do I have in here? Just really to read 2 books a month or to declutter one area in my home. So those are some monthly goals I may look at. So I kind of keep this list handy. All right, so I'm going to go through it again here. So I've had my yearly goals. I've had my quarterly goals. Now I have some monthly goals. So now I'm getting to the actual month. So I'm going to take us into October. So that would be the next part of the calendar here. So you kind of have a list on the side and you have the monthly area to work through. There's some notes on the side there of the month. If you have the planner, you'll see the notes. I'm a very messy writer, so please ignore my handwriting, which nobody can probably decipher it but me. So maybe that's okay. If I lose my planner, then I'm the only one that can read it. So it's sort of like a security measure. All right, so on the side where I have the notes and the days and all my scribbles, on the notes section, I may carry over, hey, you know what? I'd like to try to declutter, my linen closet this month, or I think this is a good month that I can do my desk. I had on this month particularly, I had some blog hopes here. I have a course platform where I have that menu planning course. I really want to work on getting more courses up, and I'm getting absolutely nowhere. So my goal this month was to kind of sit and review and look through and see what I can do with that. I want to put together a 2021 book list, so that's on my mind. I have been really bad at keeping my list of books this year. In past years, I was so good at doing that. I would utilize Goodreads. I had a list I used to keep in my planner, and I just don't do that anymore. So that's one of my goals I'd like to work on. And then it's just the normal calendar events, doctor appointments, places to go. So as I'm saying that, I want to pause here. All right, so I talked about the book list. There's areas in your planner to keep lists. You can keep a book list in the back of your planner. For me right now, because I've sort of not kept up with Goodreads, I'm sort of setting that aside. I'll probably update things in there periodically. But I do, in addition to this planner, I utilize some tech resources. So I utilize Google Calendar. We use that as a shared family calendar. And I also utilize an app called TickTick. It's similar to one if you've heard Todoist. I like TickTick over Todoist because TickTick integrates my Google Calendar with my daily look. So when I open TickTick, I can see my calendar and my to-do list items. So I use these really three, the calendar, TickTick, and my planner in tandem. They all work together for me. So I group them together. I'm trying to think here. So I do a mix of digital and paper, and I just don't see myself ever going fully digital. I like the tangible feel of the planner, and I like the aspect of writing things down. That helps me a lot. So my planner is sort of the guide for my TickTick app. I'll kind of write my to-dos here, and it'll go into that TickTick app. So, all right, as I'm going there, I'm going to move on from that because I'm going to come back to that. But another area of tech that I love to use is, like, for my blog and podcast writing, I use an app on Mac called Ulysses, and that captures all of my writing, and everything is in there. And I have really appreciated that. So I have separate areas for my YouTube and my blog and my podcast and future things and other thoughts. So that's really my writing app. But I have a new app that I came across that I love. It's really kind of replacing my Evernote, and I'm not ready to get rid of TickTick because I really like it, but it's called Rome Research, and I love it because you can tag things. So an example, I'm doing that Sermon on the Mount series on the podcast. I can tag Sermon on the Mount. I can tag the verses. So every time I take notes or do anything or find quotes and I tag that, it all comes up. It's almost like my own personal Google for what I use. So every day after I finish my time and the Word, I'll kind of open my computer and I'll update my Rome research for the day. I'll have my handy planner next to me. I'll be looking and seeing what I need to do and work through that. And then I'll kind of get ready to start my day. So, and from there, I have my phone with me as I'm going. I don't always carry my planner with me, so that's where I love the TickTick. So I'm going to get into a little more detail with that when we get into the weekly plan. This is why I script, guys, because I get totally off base and I have notes here and I'm not even looking at them. So they're not helping me right now. But I hope you're following with me, and I'm going to walk through it all the way at the end again so we have a better idea. All right, so let's see. So on the monthly aspect. So when I'm opening this month, again, I'm taking all of the Google Calendar dates and I'm putting them in here, and that's all I'm doing. And then I have my month here to plan, and I will continue when something new goes on my Google Calendar. When I do my Sunday night planning, it goes in here. I make sure it's not missed. I double check and make sure it's in my planner, because my planner it's my go-to. So if I lose digital, I always have my planner. So I'm grateful for that. Okay, so again, any notes in the margin, any monthly goals, any quarterly goals that I'm going to be carrying over will also go in that margin there too on the monthly one. So I utilize a lot of paper clips to kind of mark it for me, and tabs. It just helps me. So then I'm going to go over to the weekly area. So now I'm in the weekly tab of your planner. So just, Sue's got them all tabbed here. She has year, month, week, tasks, projects, info, and shopping lists in the back. So now I'm in the weekly. So I have what's called weekly goals. There's my messy writing. And my weekly goals are really my cleaning schedule broke down from my home. So I'm breaking it down, you know, my zones. I call them zones, but I really just utilize them as rooms. So like Monday, I know I call it zone 1, but I know that's my weekly home blessing and when I do my bedrooms. Tuesday is my pantry, mudroom, kitchen, kind of tidy my fridge and freezer because for us, it's garbage day. So I consider that my zone 2. Wednesday is my office day. That's when I do bills and filing and do my office work for my husband. And then I will normally I clean full bats that day. We have 2 full bats, so I'll do that. Thursday is my family room, living room, dining room, and foyer. And it sounds like a lot, but it's not. It's pretty quick. So I don't even have to tell you this. So I'm going through that. Those are my days of the week. I'm going to show you what I do with that when I get to the weekly. And then I also have blog work. So I have my blog task broken down. So, on certain days I fill up my queue with posts. So once a week I'll try to make images and fill up my queue to share on social media. So I don't have to be physically doing that. There's a tool that does that all for me and the posts just go up automatically, which I really love. And then I'll have days where I'll work on my writing, where I need to write posts or research or do things like that. I have days where I just am working on YouTube scripts or I'm working on social media images or gathering some quotes for social media. So it's kind of a mix of things. So that's all that I have there. And you can do anything with this, your weekly goals. How does your week lay out? So then from there, and let me show you a blank one before I show you my messy one. So here's what the weekly sheets look like. So you have an area up here with the tasks. You have the little, and I'm really bad at this, you have the little line here where I was telling you Sue has a way. She has kindness matters. So maybe some way that you can show kindness to someone that week. I'm going to be honest, I don't utilize that very often. I'm kind. I didn't mean that, but I don't utilize that little part of the planner. But it is a sweet part if you like it. And then it breaks down into the weekly. And this area here, I love this because this is where I write down my zone and my blog thing that I want to accomplish. And it does have an area for menu. I do menu plan on a separate sheet, but I love that that's there to just throw what am I making for dinner. So I'll kind of throw that in there too. So let's go to my weekly plan. So this is my October. This is my current week. All right. So I still use stickies. Do you see that? I'm still a sticky note girl or sometimes a 3x5 card. So in that task list, I'll carry over whatever was in that month. I'll carry over whatever was from last week that I didn't get to and any other tasks that need to be done. So this is all happening for me on Sunday night when I'm planning. Tasks get added through the week, but I'm planning that Sunday night. So as I'm looking at it Sunday evening, I've got my task list. I'm looking at my week. I'm going to plug in every day what's on my calendar. So if I had certain meetings, like things to do, that goes in there. And then from there, I look at my task week and go, okay, so today, before I filmed this, I sent out a blog newsletter. I was supposed to write that Wednesday, and I didn't. I was going to write it and schedule it, and I didn't. So I did it this morning. So it kept getting moved down the list, but it ended up there today to get the newsletter done, which I did. So that was a good thing. So typical, like I have my Bible study time. I'll put that in there. I'm in a small group, and we're working through Sinclair Ferguson's book on maturity. So that'll be on there. I need to answer emails for the blog. So if you've emailed me and I've not gotten back to you that yet, I sincerely apologize, but I'm getting there. I'm a little behind on answering emails, so I'm working on that. I'll have I wanted to put my notes together for this video to make for you. So I have that on here. So everything gets written in my task list. That's it. What is on here for the day? So my week will get laid out. I'll wake up. I'll go through my day, right? Kind of start my morning, go through my day. And then at the end of the day, when I'm done with that day, I'll take just a few minutes. Literally, it takes me probably 2 minutes to review the day, look at tomorrow. What do I need to change, add, do, move, whatever that may be. I'll take care of that, write it in there. I'll update my little Tick app so it's all situated. I'll do that in, again, just those couple minutes. I'll go through and check it off and add it and move it, and I'm done. And that's it. I love, I know a lot of people just work with a planner, and I'm sure I could do that too. I love the Tick app only because my phone is something I always have with me. So I'm grateful if I'm somewhere and I think of something like, oh, I need to call them. I could just pop it in there on my tick, and then I can coordinate that with my paper planner. So Todoist is a great app, and I believe it's free. That's a great one to utilize. My husband uses that and he really likes it. So, all right, so let's see what else I have with that. Yeah, that's really it, guys. So I love this planner. I'm going to show you a quick view of this one. This is the one for 2021. So this is the one Sue has out now to purchase, and it's beautiful. The colors are really pretty. There's the yearly. There's your monthly, and she has on here, every flower has to go through dirt to reach the light. So just beautiful little quotes and encouragements. Excellent price. You're going to love that. The weekly goals section. Yeah, that's just a nice way to do it. You know, what are things that you do have to accomplish each week? So for me, again, this is my cleaning schedule and it's my blog schedule, my work stuff. There is an area in the back for tasks. So just literally blank pages. You can do whatever you want. There's quite a few of them. There's an area laid out for projects. So it's sort of divided. Sorry, I'm peeking to make sure it's showing up there. There's an area for extra info. Maybe you want to keep some numbers or names or websites or things on hand to access. And then at the very end, she has tear off shopping lists, which is pretty cool. It's bound nicely. I love that because it can lay flat and I can even work it back this way if I want to do that. Usually I love it because it lays flat really nice. So that's it. Any other questions or things I missed, please shoot me a comment below the video and I will get to them. I pray that you will take a peek. I'm going to put a link to my Thankful Homemaker Facebook group because this one is going in there because this video came about because of my Facebook group. We are growing. It's been a blessing. I think you'd love to be there. So if you're on Facebook, please join us. Please just click on the link. Answer the really quick questions. That's really important. People forget to do that. Answer the really quick questions and then we can add you into the group there. So I really would love to have you there. So that's all I have today. I'm going to get to the rest of my list. I'm going to record one more video today that's on my to-do list. I am going to finish up and read my chapter again from my maturity study. I'm going to go to the grocery store and we're having homemade pizza for dinner tonight. So I can look at my list and I know what I'm doing. So that's a good thing. So my friends, have a very blessed week and thanks for your time today.